Starbucks and jewelry is the only thing keeping gas in the tank. And my jewelry hasn't even come in yet. I don't even know anymore, y'all. Like, it's whatever. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's pick a card reading, we will be asking the question, why are people envious of you? I've had this idea for a while now because I see other readers do it too. And like, when I was thinking about it, I knew I wanted to use the word envious instead of jealous. I don't know why, but like I feel like the word envious has like such a like a bite to it. You know, it's like it's giving Snake, it's giving Taylor Swift. You know, like it's giving Seven Deadly Sins. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew I wanted to use that word. I don't know, but. You know, in this reading, we'll just be looking at, you know, like, why are people envious of you or why people are jealous of you in both, like, a good and bad way. You know, I feel like all jealousy, like, people are too quick to paint it as, like, bad, but, like, sometimes we just can't help it, you know? But, yeah. We have 4 piles here today. We have pile 1 with the lovely Omens Tarot, pile 2 with the Everyday Witch Tarot, pile 3 with the Pink Pain Tarot, and pile 4 with the Tarot of the Divine. I don't know what it was about this pink and blue vibe I liked, but I just like the pink and blue vibe, so I'm like, pink and blue vibe. But yeah. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Special thank you to you guys, because like lately I feel like the climb and the growth has been very consistent, and it's been very like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's happening, and I don't know, I just wanted to like say thank you all, because I appreciate everyone that like leaves comments and likes and like talks to me. Special shout out to the people that buy readings from me, which by the way, I do offer personal readings in my Etsy shop for a few bucks if you don't want a personal reading. I just, you know, like aside from the support, I just really love the fact that you guys feel so comfortable talking to me about these things and like letting me help you, you know. I don't know, like it means a lot to me, and like it really does feel like I'm accomplishing what I set out to do by starting this channel. So special shout out to you guys. I love you guys. And also more about it in the ramble, but yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, timestamps are in the description. If you already chosen your pile, you're probably already there, but if you like to sit and listen to me ramble for an extra minute or two or however many at this point, it really doesn't matter, then hi. Oh my gosh, you guys, so like honestly, today is the 21st. Cancer season just started today. And I already know because Cancer transits goes through my 8th house because I'm Sagittarius rising. And girl, I do not like when things transit my 8th house. It's very uncomfortable. And I feel like the changes that are made through the 8th house transit for me are very appropriate, and they do end up helping a lot. But the change is very drastic, and it's very not my vibe. I don't know. I love Gemini energy. Gemini goes through my 7th house, and Gemini energy literally is so amazing. I love Geminis. I feel like people like be hating on Geminis, and like low key, I kind of like it though, because I be gatekeeping their energy. That's just my take on it. But, you know, like some stuff happened literally right this morning. I got a bunch of phone calls while I was still in bed. And I was like, girl, what is this? I'm only 20. Why are y'all calling me? And like all these changes were happening and stuff like that. And it just like, it really stressed me out. I feel like these today and yesterday in particular were very uncomfortable for me, and I did not like it. I still feel very uncomfortable, but like I knew I wanted to film and like talk to you guys, you know, like I don't know, I just like doing readings like makes me like really happy, even though it like tires me out. And yeah, that just and I did a poll yesterday on the 20th. The reason I say the dates is because like, you know, like obviously like when you're watching this, it's not going to be the same days I'm filming it, but I did a poll on how everyone's doing, and I noticed that like a little bit, I'd say around 50% or more are not doing all that well. And I just like want to say like you're not alone, and I feel like we all have a very colorful situation in terms of what is causing us to be so down in the dumps. And a part of me like I'm very uncomfortable, and I'm very like not okay with the circumstances right now, but simultaneously like looking at it for what it is, it's so clear to see that it will in fact pass and that anything that gets taken away will be replaced with something better. And I'm keeping it vague because obviously, like, not everyone that's watching or like listening to me right now is going through the exact same thing. But I feel like I'm saying it because, like, for myself and for you guys, because, you know, like, I feel like expressing myself really helps me because, like, otherwise it just gets stuck in my body and I just become evil. But yeah, I don't know. I feel very weird and I feel kind of, I wouldn't say bad. This morning I felt horrendous, but then I like got better. I was like, whatever. But I'm excited though because I do feel like despite everything that's going on, I do see the light at the end of the tunnel and I do see how things are going to get better because first of all, you guys, I I ordered new skincare. I ordered this cleansing oil. And if you want to hear about the products that I use for, like, or what I'm doing, like, all this, like, I have another channel. It's, like, my ramble channel. It's called Hi Judson. It's for, like, if you want to, like, hang out with me a little bit extra, you know, if you really like the rambles, you want to listen to me ramble about other things or, like, what I do and stuff like that, how I'm feeling. Anyways, that's there. But I bought a new cleansing oil and I bought a retinol serum. Now, I've tried this serum before. It's the CeraVe one. And I tried it in high school. And I remember it did, in fact, really improve the texture of my skin. So I'm intrigued to see if I was correct or if I'm just, like, delusional. So I've heard really good things about it. So I'm excited. Obviously, I feel like being so young, I shouldn't be using, like, retinol. But, like, also, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive tomorrow. So may as well live like I'm going to die tomorrow. That's just me, though, you guys. But, you know, I feel like I really want to improve my skin. I feel like it's gotten way better. You guys, like, if you ever see my face, like, on my other channel or my TikTok, just know, like, my acne used to be so bad. It was so bad. I can't even. And it's gotten so much better, but, like, I feel like there's a little extra oomph that I can take to, like, make it better, you know? But yeah, I want to lose some weight in my face and I want to clear up my skin. And by doing so, I need to cut back on my sugar intake. Dude, I hung out with my friends the other day. Tell me why I got Starbucks twice in one day and had an icy at the movies. I don't know what demon possessed me that day, but my skin broke out so bad because of it, and I'm like just now starting to recover from it, but like that was bold of me, you guys. Like that was the most like immature thing I've ever done in my entire life. I really thought I'm never doing that again. I've decided that like my skin is pretty tolerant of me getting Starbucks consistently just because I do oat milk substitutions, which maybe to you sounds a little bit silly, but to me like it really does help because dairy, like consistent dairy messes up my face really bad, especially around my nose area. But sugar makes me break out if I have it like too much in one go, you know, because I have a sweet tooth. I literally have the worst sweet tooth in the world, you guys. I love sweets. I'm always like having to maintain my teeth too because I always get cavities and stuff because I love sweets. I can't help it. Please don't tell me to stop eating sweets because I will continue to eat sweets, okay? But I do understand that I need to moderate. But yeah, I'll talk more about it on my Ramble channel when I decide to post on it again. But thank you for listening. I hope you're doing okay. You. I hope you're doing okay. Just know that this will pass just like any other situation. If you're going through it, if you're like normal and you're like happy, like, you know, like maybe you can't relate, but you know, it just happens. But yeah. Okay, see you at your reading. I love you. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the lovely Omens tarot, this is going to be your reading for why are people envious of you? I'm glad I picked this deck to be in this video because as I said this, I'm going to pull some more cards by the way, but as I've said, this deck has a dedicated fan base. Every time I use it, like someone's like, oh my gosh, I freaking love this deck and stuff like that. And I'm glad you guys love it, but sometimes I feel like this deck is more like popular than I am. I don't know. And it's kind of funny because like I noticed that like a lot of Virgos pick it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Why are people envious of pile 1? Oh, okay. It just flew across the world. I got this card. Okay. We have the Panther. Whew, okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really memorized this deck, and I've been liking the vibe of pulling out the guidebook. So I pulled out the guidebook. So yeah, let's read it together. If I can find the page, there it is. Okay. It says, Panther, annihilation of the unnecessary purging. The panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnant. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc, with the ultimate intention of bringing us toward more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. But after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences and they've made us better people. Trust that the panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. So, the first thing that the first thing that I keep hearing is like karma. I don't know what it is about karma, but I just feel like people are very envious of the fact that it seems as if though, like, I keep thinking of the song Karma by Taylor Swift. Now, you guys, I don't really avidly listen to Taylor Swift, but she has some bangers, okay? Whether you like her or not. And there's this one song called Karma, and there's this lyric and she's like, I keep my side of the street clean. Like, you wouldn't know what I mean. And that is so like you. I feel like you're very good about keeping your records clean. I feel like you're like a perfectionist. I don't know. Like, I just feel like you're so good at managing your energy and managing how things kind of go down. Like, I feel like you're a very calculated and intentional person with every move you take. And to kind of offset that, I do feel like people are very envious of the fact that you're a very patient person and somebody who, like, it makes me think of that person that has really nice things and they worked a little extra harder for it, but people don't really know that, so they're just like envious of like, oh, they got it for free, or like they had it easy or something. Excuse me. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, people don't understand what it is that you do behind the scenes in order for you to get to where you are now. And I feel like that's because, like, I don't know, like, there's probably a bunch of particular reasons as to why you won't disclose why you put in the extra work. But, like, I think it's pretty safe to say that, like, extra work equals more reward, and, that just probably appeals to you. But I just feel like people don't really see the extra work part, and they just immediately become envious of the fact that you have extra, Like, maybe people at work, like, if you work a 9 to 5, you take some extra hours, or like you are promoted and people don't know that, and so like you be like your paychecks are bigger, or like they're just like, how do you have a nicer car than me when we work the same job, or like, how do you have all this nice stuff but I work the same job as you, we're the same, and you're like, you just don't pay attention to that, because I feel like you're not very interested in explaining your success to people. But I do feel as if though, like, in your mind, you're like, girl, like, I literally work, like, and I'm not reckless with my money and stuff like that, like, you're just a very mature and behaved person when it comes to your lifestyle and the quality of your life. And you practice a lot of discipline, and I feel like a lot of people who don't have discipline immediately jump the gun, and they're like jealous of you, like, they just become like all like finicky about it, and they try to, like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people like talk about you. I wonder if you have worked in, depending on the environment that you're in, I almost wonder if a lot of people have talked about you behind your back, or if people have come up with the craziest rumors to kind of be like, oh, like, this is how they have this, or this is, like, they'll be like, oh, like, they have a sugar daddy, or like, oh, like, they are in the mafia or something like that, like the craziest rumors. It sounds crazy on paper, but like, as somebody who has worked a 9 to 5, it truly is wild how imaginative people can be when it comes to gossiping and creating rumors. And Pile 1, I think that you are no stranger to that, and it definitely contributes to the whole factor that people would rather come up with these crazy scenarios to invalidate the good things that you have, as opposed to just possibly considering the fact that maybe they just worked a little bit more, And I also feel like you're somebody who is very good about cutting people off, because obviously in the entry we just read, it was like annihilation of whatever it may be, or like, like getting rid of things and cutting things off. So I feel like you are very good about keeping your friend groups clean, or like just anything clean, I almost wonder if you're like that person that, like, you maybe lived, this is just like one example of many, this is just like the one that I think of, but somebody who lives in a very toxic household and they're like, I want to get out of here. So you like move, and then you move into like this really nice apartment or even a house for some of you, or like a condo, and you like deck it out and you make it the way that you always wanted to live and stuff like that. And people think like, oh, like they were handed that, you know, or like people are just like, wow, like you're such a show off and stuff like that, or like, wow, like you have expensive taste, you know, like just a lot of backhanded comments. And I wouldn't be surprised also if like a lot of narcissists have been very like, they've come into your life and they have very strongly reacted. I feel like it's very vague as to how they could have reacted, but it's pretty safe to say that regardless of, you know, like, it's just, the point is that I think narcissists don't like you because you seemingly have very nice things, or the way that you live is with great respect to yourself and the people that you care about. And obviously when you respect yourself and you make it a point to set boundaries and stuff like that, narcissists don't like that, you know? And even if it isn't a narcissist, just like insecure people get very threatened by that, you know, they get very threatened by your self-respect and whatnot. And I also feel like it's just, it makes me think of like that whole scenario of like, oh, like you're living well and stuff like that, or like people just think like, oh, like they were handed that, but they don't really know that you came from a terrible household to live in that condo that you live in now, or whatever it may be. And obviously, like I said, that's just one example of many, but I feel like it's just like, the point is that people don't know where you come from, and people don't know the amount of work that you have done on yourself in order to be who you are. And I feel like you kind of like to keep it that way, you know? I almost wonder if you're like entertained by rumors, or I feel like you just like to kind of like move in silence, and when people check on you, like, you know what I mean? I just feel like you're not a flaunty person, or I just feel like you're not somebody who actively boasts. I'm sure that like, you know, just as well as if you are a Virgo, because like I said, a lot of Virgos come into this pile. You could be a Virgo, you could be a Leo, or you could be a Capricorn. I don't know, like those placements just really stick out to me. And, you know, like those placements, I just feel like very into working and getting the things that they want, you know, and having what it is that they, you know, like the lifestyle that they want to live. And they're very not concerned with how other people perceive them, you know. And I feel like that's another thing that people are very jealous of. I feel like you're very good about filtering opinions, or being like, oh, like it literally doesn't matter, like your opinion is very irrelevant, so, you know, take it away from me. And I feel like there's a lot of insecure people that get very jealous of that, simply because they can't really do that, you know. They can't dismiss people not caring about them, you know, or like they can't really dismiss people because they care so much, you know. And so like as a result, it's just like, wow, like they may project onto you and be like, wow, you're so heartless, or like, wow, like you just don't care about anybody but yourself. Or like maybe they've even projected onto you and be like, you're such a narcissist, or things like that, or you only care about yourself. And I just want to say, pile one, it's obviously from a place of jealousy and like envy, because they simply just, they hate that you can care so much about yourself and have healthy boundaries, and these people that are clearly the opposite just would rather invalidate you, or like try to invalidate you, because they'd rather see you fall than do the work themselves, you know. And that's like a common theme here. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys know, like, I think that that is something that you know. And I think that everything that I said so far, it's not the first time you're hearing it. If anything, this pile is just going to be a lot of confirmation for you. A little bit more. Why else are people envious of pile one? I chose this deck because I thought like the green and like the nature went with the animals. I was like, that's so cute. Why are people envious of pile one? Okay. I'm gonna take this one. We have duality with bananas. And is there any zodiac sign on here? I don't see a zodiac sign on there. I can't believe bananas have like a botanical name. I don't know. Obviously they do, but it's just like, they're just some bananas. Anyways, it makes me okay. A bunch of things just came to my brain. And the first thing it made me think of was bananas from Mario Kart, and it also made me think of just like cartoon characters slipping on banana peels. There's this scene in Tom and Jerry in the Magic Ring. If you know that movie, please tell me. But there's this one scene where they were messing with the magic ring and it blasted a bolt and it hit this banana peel, and the banana peel got like bigger and previously they had disregarded the banana. And the reason I'm like, at first I was just gonna tell you just to like tell you, but like now that I'm thinking about it, it almost makes me wonder if people have you as an enemy, or if people become enemies of you, it is just like checkmate for them. Because it makes me think of like, you are not a person that should be left unattended, or like if left unattended, it's just like you become so much better, you know? Like I just feel like you're not the person to do incorrectly. Obviously no one that's watching this channel is like, girl, don't do any of us wrong, like period, like point blank, just don't. Like try again next time, like in another life, press the red X, like cancel it, bye, we don't want it, like go to the neighbors. But you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like when done in, like, you just seem like the person that when you get broken up with, or like when people do you incorrectly, you have like the craziest glow up. And it's just like, that's kind of your revenge, you know, of like just becoming even better. And like, it's just, you become like, they disregarded you in the beginning, but now you're something that they simply cannot ignore. And it just comes with this immense feeling of like shame and regret on their part, because they're just like, oh my gosh, like they really didn't need me. And on top of that, like I was just holding them back. Like that's so like embarrassing for me. I don't know. You know, obviously they would never say that to themselves because they're too like up in their own head about it. But you know what I'm saying, Pile One? I feel like the past like 1 minute of what I just said made absolutely no sense. But what I'm trying to say here is that like you are somebody who, through pain and through setbacks and adversity, you become even better because you are used to the tough weathering conditions, and you are not going to be one to give up or, you know, like get down under the pressure, you know? It makes me think of like pressure creates diamonds, you know? I feel like you're most definitely that person. Like you won't like dig yourself out of it, like you'll just sit with the pressure, you know? That was also very corny. But you know, I just feel like people, they have a hard time one-upping you, and it's almost impossible to do that. And it's not even because like you are literally doing better than them or you're trying to compete, you know? It's just like, I feel like you're betting on yourself, and I feel like you are like comparing yourself to yourself, and I feel like you are becoming the best version of yourself, you know? Like you're very invested in yourself, Pile One. And obviously that all in its own, in this society, people are very envious of that, because people aren't very good at advanced, or like there's a lot of people that aren't very good at investing into themselves, you know? And they just become naturally envious of that because, one, they don't know how to invest in themselves, and two, they're too afraid to invest in themselves because they don't want to be made fun of or things like that, or they care what people think too much, and, you know, whatever the case may be. And it's just like, I feel like it's very confusing. Not confusing, but like, it's just one of those things, because when they know you, when people get to know you, it's not like you're a bad person, Pile One. Like, obviously, like, I know, like, that's, like, the farthest from, like, you're the farthest from, and it's just, like, you aren't mean or anything. I feel like the way people paint you out to be, or, like, people that don't like you or are very jealous of you in the strict bad way, do paint you as to be like an enemy and stuff like that. And I feel like you're also the first person that will totally embody that enemy. If you're like, girl, if you want me to be the bad guy, I will be the bad guy. Let me just show you how nice I've been, you know? Like, I just feel like you're a very kind person. And I do, in fact, feel like you are somebody who is very giving and even sometimes very self-sacrificing for the people that you really care about and for the people that truly mean the world to you. I feel like you really would do almost anything for the people that you love and show compassion for. And that's why I just feel like when people betray you, it's just like you become very, like, not nasty, but, you know, you become very defensive, and you very much will, you have a venom to you because you simply will not tolerate that. Just because I feel like in the past, like I said, like for some of you, I do think that you've been treated bad in the past, or that you've gone through a lot of changes and through a lot of development in order to get where you are. And I just feel like you will not tolerate anyone mindlessly subjecting you to pain or to, like, you know, like whatever it may be, because it's not productive, you know? Like, you're just like, if I'm going to be put under pressure, it's going to be for something that is worth it, not because you are jealous of me. No, you know? Time to pull more oracle cards. I really like pulling one oracle card at a time. I just feel like it makes the reading flow way smoother in my eyes, because when I pull all the cards at once, I just get like really overwhelmed. Why else are people envious of pile 1? Oh, wow. I guess 2. I guess we're taking 2. Okay, we have birth and we have self-doubt. I do feel like the self-doubt applies to other people and how other people are becoming jealous of you, you know? And I also feel like the self-doubt, like, it kind of goes a bunch of different ways, you know? Because it could also just be that, like, I'm not gonna lie, Pile One, I almost wonder if for a very long time in your life you were the person that like got like all A's in class and you'd be like, oh my gosh, like I got the lowest A possible, and everyone's like, I literally got all F's, you know? You could have been that kid in school, and if you were, valid, because I was also that kid, so it's like whatever. And if you weren't, neither was I. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways. And with the birth card, I just feel like the birth card and the Panther card go really well hand in hand, because it once again goes back to the whole thing that like through great change and through great pain you really grow and you really advance forward, and there's not much people can do to actually keep you in the dark or actually keep you in pain for an extended period of time, because it's like, yes, at the end of the day, like they did inflict pain upon you, but at the same time the amount of growth that followed after that pain is like tenfold, and it's just like it makes the pain almost look like stupid, you know, or it makes it look like, wow, like you did all that just for like nothing, you know, like thanks anyways. And I also feel like with the birth card, it seems as if though like you're also a type of person that goes through a lot of metamorphosis, if you will, or just like, you know, like goes through a lot of growth stages. I feel like for those that aren't in your life for a long period of time, or for those that don't stick around consistently, I think that if people go in and out of your life, you change drastically in between them entering and leaving, you know? Just because I feel like, once again, like you are advocating for yourself, and because of that, you're constantly changing, because you're always trying to, you know, like become a better version of yourself, and you're very motivated. So a lot of energy gets put into you doing work on yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be, you know? And so as a result, I feel like people are very envious of the mountains you're able to move, or your sheer strength and ability to kind of like become even more comfortable within yourself, you know? I feel like it's one of those things where I don't know if my best friend's going to pick this pile. I feel like she is. But you know, like I remember one time she was like, I don't think I'll ever truly like be happy with myself. And she didn't, like, to me it didn't come off as like she hates herself or something, but more so in a way that like she will never be completely satisfied with herself, because she is so invested in constantly doing work on herself. And I feel like that's you, Pile One. I feel like you're the kind of person that's like, yes, I do like myself, I am a fan of myself, but I do know that improvements can be made, you know? So I feel like you're always on the go, go, go. And I almost wonder if in that sense that a lot of people become very jealous of your work ethics. I wouldn't be surprised if you've had coworkers or people that you work with just be like, oh, like Pile One, they do literally nothing. Or people that you live with even, like they'll be like, oh yeah, they do nothing around the house and stuff like that, even though you're literally the backbone of the entire place. And it's just their attempt to like control you and put you down, because they know that deep down they don't do anything, and they just rather project that onto you, you know? And I feel like it's very interesting that I keep saying the word projecting, because I do feel like that is what envy is, you know? But I feel like with you it's especially like applicable, because it's just you really care about yourself. Like, I don't know, like people seeing themselves so much of what they want to be, because, you know, like you are so far along in your own self journey, you know, and doing work on yourself. All right, let's pull some tarot cards. Whew. Also, Pile One, what's your Venus sign? I'm gonna ask this to every pile individually. I was gonna ask in the last video, but like I completely forgot to, so I was like, oh. Anyways, I don't know, I just love knowing people's Venus sign, because I like really love Venus, because I'm like a Taurus moon, and my Venus placement is crazy. Why are people envious of Pile One? Why are people envious of Pile One? Why are people envious of Pile One? I'm gonna do 5 shuffles. Why are people envious of Pile One? Alright. We have Judgment. I also like doing like shuffling on camera because it's like you're literally seeing me shuffle, you know? I don't know. We also have Queen of Cups. We have Five of Cups. And Five of Swords. And then the Emperor. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Justice. So yeah, I do feel like the Justice card being on the bottom of the deck is very appropriate here because it all goes back to the fact that you are a fair-minded individual and that you are not somebody that does people incorrectly, you know? Like when people do terrible things to you, I feel like maybe if it does really bog you down, you're just like, I would never do this to anybody, you know? Like, or I would never intentionally put someone through what I'm going through right now. Like, I just feel like you're such a kind person and, you know, like, it's just like obviously there's a reservoir deep within you that is full of motivation and in fact like you are able to stand up for yourself and defend yourself when necessary. But I just feel like you're the kind of person that believes in karma. You're the kind of person that believes in that revenge is best served like sweet, you know, like you do just the work on yourself and you know that everything else will get taken care of, you know, especially with the Queen of Cups, Five of Cups, and Five of Swords. I think it's very interesting because the Five of Swords and Five of Cups together really shows me that despite disappointments and unfinished business and things of that nature, you're not too interested in putting yourself back into a negative spot or going back to toxic situations just for the sake of it, you know? Just because, like, you could be a Libra, by the way, with the Justice card here, or an Aries, but, you know, I just feel like there's this vibe here that's giving me, like, you will never go back to a toxic situation or you will never subject yourself to something more than once, you know? And I just feel like the reason that this is important is because with the Queen of Cups, I do think that you have made that mistake before. I think that everything that you do well is in fact a result of experience and you going through something. But it's just like you're very quick with it, you know? You're very intelligent and you're very smart when it comes to these things and you learn very quickly, you know, and I think that this can be applied even outside of the context that is, you know, like I'm providing it in, but it's just like, I wouldn't be surprised if other people are jealous of that of you too, like your knowledge and your wisdom and the fact that you're able to apply it so like flawlessly, you know, and really execute different things in your life simply because there are experiences that you have had that you kept with you and essentially learned from instead of blocking out as a trauma response or something like that, you know. And I just feel like the Queen of Cups really goes to show that like everything that you do is a result of something that you've learned and as a result of you having gone through it already, you know? But once again, back to the start of the reading when I said like people don't know that. People don't know what you've been through, so they just think that like you already knew it or something of that nature, or they would go so far as even to say that you're lucky or that like, you know, they hate on people around you. They think, oh, like they got the advice from this person or oh this person is doing it all for them, you know. But it's just like little do they know that you're actually the one that's taking the wheel in your life and that you really take the time to contemplate through your decisions and really, you know, think for yourself and really just premeditate things. I feel like you're a very like intentional person. I went over this in a little bit in the beginning of the pile, but I just feel like every action that you take and everything that you do is very intentional, and you are somebody who heavily premeditates things. And the Judgment card and the Queen of Cups being here is no exception. Your intuition is probably fantastic. I feel like there are times where people feel like you just like are like psychic or like maybe you even read tarot yourself, but it's just giving me this vibe that like there are so many things that you know simply because your emotions and your intuition told you, you know. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, especially detached people or people who are not very in tune with their emotions. They think that like it's all luck, and I think that maybe sometimes when you're in the midst of making decisions, this specific scenario just came up. So like I can imagine you like about to make a decision of sorts, or you're about to go through or something, and someone's like, no, like why would you do that? That's stupid. Like, do it this way. And you're like, I'm not even going to listen to you because I know what I'm doing. Like, I know that there's something here. And you go through with it. You just follow your intuition blindly. And it gets you exactly where you need to be. And I feel like that person will be like, oh, like, wow, like, you just got lucky, you know? Like, it's just whatever, you know? Like, my choice would have been better. Like, you should have listened to me anyways. But, like, whatever. Like, it's water under the bridge, you know? I guess you got it done. You know, like, people just, like, are always trying to discredit you or like trying to like disapprove of you or like look down on you because they're just not they're not in tune with their own emotions and their own intuition. So as a result, they're not very good at making decisions based on their intuition, you know, and they follow through logic. And I wouldn't be surprised if constantly following through with logic for these people probably gets them in these horrible rabbit holes in their life, or it causes them to spiral, you know. And I just feel like it's one of those situations where people just like, they go through these things and they, like, what I'm trying to say by saying that they are always following through with their logic, they get stuck in like a lot of basic systems that profit off of people trying to follow what is logical or what makes sense, you know? It gives me this vibe because, like, obviously when you're strictly logical or when you're always playing by the books, you're going to just blend in with the rest of society, you know, because society profits off of you ignoring your intuition and your emotions consistently, you know? And I just feel like you're just not that, you know, like you're very set on getting your own way. You're very set on doing things the way that you like. So I just feel like a lot of people have tried to like put you in a box or try to confine you to spaces simply because they don't know anything outside of that. So they just like, they look down on you and they think that you're going to become a failure or something, when in reality you're literally like slaying out here with the Emperor card. Like you literally have taken control of your life. And there's so many people that are like, oh my gosh, like I wish, like, you're crazy, you know. And it's just like, you literally took like one step outside of that box that I was just talking about, you know. It's like, it's great out here, you know, like you should come with me. And they're like, absolutely not, like that's anarchy, like you're crazy, like have you lost your mind, you know. And yeah, I think I'm gonna sum up your reading, pile one, by saying I just feel like a lot of the people who are envious of you are definitely people from your past, with this whole like people, you know, like you having learned your lesson, you know. And I just think that these people like are either from your past or like they could be coworkers. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just like people are envious of you because you are somebody who learns very quickly and you have done a lot of work on yourself, and through experiences and through hardships and through very unpredictable situations, you have really grown and you've really changed for the better, and you have done so much work on yourself that a lot of these people simply don't see, and as a result they only see your success and they only see the good things that you have, you know, like reaped from, like the benefits that you've reaped from your hard work. They don't see the hard work, they just see the benefits, and they just think that, oh, like you're just getting handed it to it for free, or like just wait until like your luck runs out, or like wait till like, you know, people start like, you know, like just wait because like not everything's going to be handed to you. And I feel like a lot of people like look down on you for it, you know, and like they probably try to like take advantage of you, you know, especially because like with the Queen of Cups, I just feel like you're a very nice person, and I do feel like there are times where you know, or like where you've known that you're being manipulated and or being treated incorrectly, but you just stuck around simply because like, who knows, you know. I just feel like it really depends on the scenario. But like one thing I'm feeling is that maybe you stuck around because you thought they would change, but like they like literally didn't, you know. And I just feel like there are times where you have gone through self-doubt and through having to really set things straight and, you know, balance things out, even though it wasn't technically your job. And I just feel like as a result, it creates this sort of duality within you, you know, of having such a better relationship with yourself, one that is so perfect and one that is just like a lot more compassionate. And the way that you talk to yourself is with so much love. And, you know, a lot of people who don't love themselves are very envious of that, but they don't understand that it's envy, and they just think it's looking down on you, or they think that you are like different, or that like, you know, they're trying to shame you for it and trying to make you feel bad about it, you know. But it's just like, you're like, literally, I don't care. Like, especially the Five of Swords. I feel like the Five of Swords is such an I don't care card. But yeah, I really do feel like that's the mentality you carry. So that's all I have for you, pile one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated. And if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the Everyday Witch Tarot, this is going to be your reading for why are people envious of you. I'm gonna pull some oracle cards first. Oh my gosh, pile 2. I literally was gonna film. So I filmed pile 1, and then I was like, oh, like, let me just take a little break before I do pile 2. I ended up sitting on my phone for an hour straight watching stupid videos. I was like, I literally was like, because everyone's been talking about the submarine story. I'm like, girl, this just shows how boring the internet is right now. We just like hyper fixate on the slightest bit of news. And I know this is like not little news, but it's like still, Anyways, why are people envious of pile 2? I'm not saying that, I don't know, you guys should know, like, obviously I'll show concern and stuff like that, but it's just like, it happens in the name of science and history. Why are people envious of pile 2? Why are people envious of pile 2? Okay, we have the dolphin card. Now, I know most of these cards, some of them I haven't memorized, but I pulled it out for the guidebook for pile 1, and I ended up really loving the context that it provided for the reading, so I'm just going to read it for you too. I'm going to read it for everyone, honestly. So, here it is. Dolphin, innately intelligent, healer, light, blessings. The gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of spirit. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming in contact with a dolphin type will change the entire course of your day and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on the way. We love that last part for you. But I feel like the one thing that stuck out to me is that you probably don't really have a good gauge on what an impact you make on this world, pile 2. And I'm not saying that in a way that like can either A, undermine your impact, or B, undermine your perspective. It's just like you really do offer so much good to this world, and you really do bring something super special and unique, regardless of the fact that there's hundreds of people watching this pile. It's like all of you individually still bring something completely unique to the table. And I just feel like, one, that's so beautiful, and two, there's a lot of people that like are very envious of that, obviously, I just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting like a bunch of different messages, but the first one is that like how it said that you may not be aware of your gifts or how much you can really impact someone's day and whatever the case may be. It's really giving me this vibe that like people think that like you're like, they're just like, you're not cute, like, or like they'll be like, oh, like you really, I don't know how to explain it. It's like when someone downplays something great that they did, I feel like people get like, it's like, oh, then what am I, if that wasn't so great, like you, it's very like backhanded, like on their end. It makes me think of somebody that's like, you'll like draw like a masterpiece and then they'll be like, and you're like, oh yeah, it's just something that I did, and they're like, I can't even draw a stick figure, and I just feel like, I feel like for you, the envy definitely comes up a little bit differently, and the way people show jealousy towards you is very colorful, and it's very like, I would say it's more subtle, and it's more of like a pleasant jealousy. Pile 1 was quite vicious, I must say, like in terms of like how people are envious of them. But like for you, I just feel like there's a lot of people that wish that they could like navigate and see the world the way that you see it, And there's a lot of people that like, they wish that you wouldn't take your gifts for granted, or that they wish that you would realize on a more grander scale how much you offer and how great you are, Because I just feel like it's just not doing, like, you're not doing yourself justice, and I feel like people feel some sort of way about that because it makes them feel even smaller. But on top of that, they just like, they know that you're worth so much more. I get a lot of Pisces energy, especially Pisces moon, Pisces sun and moon, maybe rising, but Pisces sun and moon. And you could also have like 12th house placements. There's always that one pile where there's like Pisces everywhere. I don't know. But like for you especially, I just feel like, even if you don't have those placements, that kind of dreamy, watery energy is very present here. And I don't think that it matters which water placement it is. I think that even in your 12th house, it could be very watery or even airy, I feel. But like all of that just suggests somebody that is very talented and somebody who is very good with transmuting their feelings into ideas and projects, you know? Like, I just feel like you bring something really beautiful into this world, and when you put your feelings and your inspirations into something tangible or into something that can be digested by the five senses, you truly create something luxurious and beautiful and one of a kind, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that have tried to keep you in that box or try to like make you believe that like you wouldn't be able to do it, you know? Or that like it's just silly. I do feel like now that more like envious energy is coming in, you know, like that snake vibe, I just feel like there are in fact people that have noticed your gift and maybe have tried to downplay it on you or make you feel like it is something else, like not very good, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have had some horrific run-ins with people like that, where people try to like snuff you out, or people try to like, you know, like put out your fire, or in this case, you know, like take away your dreams or something like that, simply because I feel like there's a lot of people that have tried to do what you may be doing right now and they failed, so they would rather see you fail as well as opposed to you achieve it too. And I do feel like a lot of jealousy stems from that. And I know I'm keeping it pretty ambiguous as to what I mean by like you going after something that somebody else failed at. And the reason I'm doing that is because obviously it could be really different from person to person. I just feel like it lies more in the feelings and the reasons as opposed to what is the literal situation, you know? And, you know, like, you open up a bakery, like you really wanted to sell baked goods, or like you wanted to open a candle company or something, and then there's somebody else that has already tried that, and they're like, no, like you can't do it, like it's really hard, like you have to sign all these contracts, it's so much work, it's just such a hassle, like just go get a job, it's, you know, like you can't do it, like there's so many people out there, you know, like I just feel like there's a lot of that, you know, like for some of you, you may be working like your dream job or like somebody else's dream job, or like you're going after something that maybe somebody else has tried to pursue, and they feel a sense of jealousy at the fact that you're doing it and like they're not, or they wouldn't be able to. And maybe for some cases it's like they haven't even tried yet, you know, like I don't think it's like they tried and failed, but like they literally, some haven't even tried yet. Like maybe when you're like a little kid, you're like, oh, I really want to become an actor, and your parents are like, no, like you can't do that, like it's just not possible, it's not realistic. I feel like you've heard that a lot, like it's not realistic, or it's just not like sustainable. I feel like you've gotten a lot of that in your lifetime, and I think that a lot of people have made you feel that way, of the sense that like there are things that are very much possible, more possible than you think, simply because you really do have a gift that gets you to where you need to be and where you would want to be. But like obviously people have gaslit you out of that, or like people have tried to gaslight you out of that into believing that like you had to just fit in with the rest. And I think that I feel like this has caused a lot of problems in your past, in the sense that maybe you have had issues of trying to conform or fit in, if you will. You could also be an Aquarius with that kind of energy too. You could have an Aquarius Lilith, but, you know, I just feel like what I'm trying to say here is that people try to like keep you in a spot that you literally aren't designed to be in, and because of that, it's probably caused you so many problems, you know. It's like when you keep an octopus in a fish tank, like you can't do that. Like these creatures are too smart. Like they'll get depressed and like mutilate themselves. You know, it's that kind of vibe. Not that you like mutilate yourself. Like that's, you know what? Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that people, like, you aren't designed to be kept in these limiting spaces that other people have confined themselves to and have adapted to, you know? And they're just, like, I feel like so many people, like, throughout your whole life have been so jealous of your potential to where they try to outright control and cookie cut you into a position that, like, just does not suit you, you know? And doesn't really suit them either, because these people haven't really tried to explore their own dreams or what they would want to do with their lives. And instead, they would just rather, like, keep other people from exploring their own dreams, you know? It's just, like, it's really messed up, but, like, it is the way it is, and that's, like, why I want to, like, do this reading, you know? I was, like, very intrigued. Anyways. Let's pull some more cards. I told this to pile 1, but I freaking love this deck. I wanted to use it in conjunction with this deck just because I thought it was like cute, because this is like plant themed and these are like animals, you know. So I was like, oh, like animals in nature. I don't know. Alright. Why are people envious of pile 2? Why are people envious of pile 2? Why are people envious of pile 2? Okay. We have leadership. Yeah, we have Gemini here. So you could be a Gemini 6th house because we have the number 6 here. We also have Libra here. So yeah, lots of air signs. We have 2 out of the 3. Gemini 6th house or Libra 6th house. Gemini 6th house would be Capricorn rising. And then Libra 6th house, that would be Taurus rising. Sorry, I really like naming those. Like, I like thinking about it. Anyways. I do feel like with the leadership card, I feel like whether you see it or not, I do think that you like radiate a lot of leadership energy in the sense that I just feel like you're like paving a pathway for other people who are just like you to kind of follow, you know? It just makes me think of somebody like who feels like everyone else is following a norm and you're like, no, like I want it this way. There's this Adventure Time episode. Oh my gosh, there's this Adventure Time episode and there was like all these like clown nurses and they were all telling Finn, they were like, it's the only way. If you know what I'm talking about, like please let me know in the comments down below. But there's this episode where like they were like not okay. Like Finn and Jake got injured and Jake was like so comfortable with the clown nurses and then Finn was like, no, like my way. Like he kept saying my way, you know? And he eventually did find his way. He got the medicine, he got the necessary cure and it helped him and Jake, you know? So I just feel like whether or not like you are trying to help others, I feel like in you carving out your own path and following your intuition and navigating your life on your own terms, you are inadvertently helping so many people around you, whether you realize it or not. And I just feel like there's so many people also jealous of that because they just feel like you have such a powerful influence and you have such a powerful way of going about your own life and that like you really see things that other people aren't able to see, and like rather than trying to see what you're seeing, they'd rather just gaslight you out of seeing what like you're seeing, you know? And I think it's also interesting that I keep bringing up the word gaslighting because like I just feel like when I repeat words in readings, it really goes to show like it may paint a picture as to what you may have experienced or like what has happened or what is relevant, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if you've had instances where people are literally trying to gaslight you or hurt you, manipulate you, you know? And I feel like obviously that's like a very powerful word and it's a very sensitive subject. So it's like if it doesn't resonate, then, you know, like, or if it makes you uncomfortable, it's not for you. But I do feel like if you do have the gifts that I'm talking about here, in the sense that like you really have something else that will get you through to the end because there's something else that you see, you know, I'd say that the gift that I keep mentioning is more of a vision and kind of like an innate desire for a state of being or like a way of living. And I just feel like, you know, that desire, that vision is definitely your gift because you see something that other people can't. And I just feel like if that resonates with you, I just feel like in the day and age that we live in, it's too easy to know that like people around you that like don't see what you see or don't have the passion and the drive that you do will go to the ends of the earth, honestly, to try and get you away from it, you know? They think they're protecting you, but in reality, they're just holding you back. And I feel like, you know, it's one of those things where like you definitely understand it and you, if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't, you know? It's one of those. Anyways, let's pull some more oracle cards. I don't know, like, I feel like it's not really painting a picture as to like why people are envious of you, you know? But like everything that I'm saying about like people trying to like protect you and stuff is out of envy, whether they realize it or not. They're just projecting it in a way that's like they're trying to protect you and like help you in some way, you know? And I just feel like it's easier to make yourself believe that you're helping someone than to admit that you're jealous. And I think that that's why the message is coming out that way, you know? If you know, you know. Alright. Why are people envious of pile 1? Why are people envious of pile 1? We have communication. And I just feel like the communication card really does go to show that like this kind of goes a bunch of different ways. I feel like one way is that like one, I think that you're very good at communicating your feelings. I feel like you're very good at expressing yourself, pile one. I wouldn't be surprised if like you're the kind of person that like keeps a diary, or you know, if you vent in very artistic ways, you know. Like I just feel like communication, like we off, like at least for me, like I always interpret it as like you're just telling someone something, but like I feel like communication can go so many different ways, you know, especially with the way that the reading's been going, in the sense that like I just feel like you're able to apply things in so many more ways than the ways that they are intended to be applied. For example, like, you know, like I'm saying, like communication, it could be mostly just about, you know, telling people how you feel, telling people about your day, you know, but you take it beyond that, you know, of like being able to communicate your feelings and thoughts through art, through like, you know, paintings, journaling, writing, little gestures, you know. It's just like you have this way of putting your feelings out there, and you have this way of expressing yourself that is somewhat eclectic and different and unconventional, and it's a very beautiful way. And I just feel like, once again, this goes back to the whole leadership thing, in that what you stand for and what you are doing for yourself is in fact paving a way and creating a culture for yourself and the people around you, of like being able to beautify things around you and romanticize things that are, you know, like maybe stale or boring, you know. And when I say romanticize, it's just that, just the same thing of like being able to bring beauty into things and kind of transmute basic human things into something truly, I keep thinking the word extraterrestrial, but you know, like something out of this world, you know. And I also feel like with the communication card, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that like maybe tell you that they're jealous, or like people that are like, oh, like I wish I could do what you do, or oh, I wish I could do that, or oh, I really want to do that, you know, and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these people like look to you for guidance. And also with the communication card, I'm noticing that like these eyes are like, you know, like looking, they're like meeting up, and like obviously that's how communication goes, but like that just makes me feel like you're able to see eye to eye with anybody. And I just feel like people who are truly envious of you, and people who are truly like out to get you, if you know what I mean, I do feel like these people kind of like, they get mad, you know. Like I feel like you're a kill 'em with kindness kind of person, or like, you know, like that kind of vibe, you know, of somebody who is just not very rude to people or is not very mean to people. I do think that like we all get mad, we all get nasty from time to time, or at least I do. Like I hope I'm not the only one, lol. But you know what I'm trying to say here is that people like, they get mad at you, or like people get, when they become envious of you, or they try like shut you down, you're like, oh, like I understand how you feel and stuff like that. It's because like I feel like what you've gone through, like you just know so well when people are coming at you sideways, you know, it's not from a place of like hatred or something. And so I just feel like you're the kind of person that like if someone starts yelling at you, instead of you yelling back, you'd be like, are you like okay, you know, with genuine concern. I just feel like, you know what I mean? You're the kind of person who's able to see right through people's intentions and things of that nature. And because of that, it's very hard for people to come at you sideways, or it's very hard for people to kind of like keep up an exterior around you, simply because like you will see right past their facade, you know? And I feel like you're able to see people like for what they truly are. And one, this makes them very anxious, and two, it makes them very envious, because like they want to feel like they're better than you, or you know, like they want to feel like they're doing something for you of that nature, you know. It just all goes back to that whole thing of like these people are like, they claim they're trying to like protect you or something of that sorts, you know. And I do feel like the way I'm like presenting the message is kind of like linear, but like it could be, I just feel like this is a common thing that you've dealt with, and I feel like this is something that you consistently notice in your day-to-day life, in the sense that there's a lot of people that try to keep you from seeing your gifts and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into the tarot so that more context can be provided. Anyways, oh, also, I'm decided I'm gonna ask every pile this, but pile 2, what's your Venus sign? Just like comment down below. I don't know, I love reading y'all's like Venus signs and like your placements when I do the polls and stuff, because so many people, I've noticed that like a lot of fire signs watch my channel. It's a lot of fire signs, then earth signs, then air signs, and water signs, which I think is interesting, because like I don't know how to attract other water signs. I don't know. I just only know how to attract fire and like air signs, especially air signs, y'all. Literally all my friends are Libra mood. I don't know what to do. Why are people envious of pile 2? And if you're a Libra moon, please tell me, so I can be like, why are you also Libra moon? Not like in a rude way, but like, oh. Anyways, over 50% of my friends are Libra moons. Why are people envious of pile 2? Okay, we have Temperance. So yeah, you could be a Sagittarius. We also have the Lovers. We also have Gemini. Interesting, because Sagittarius and Gemini are sister signs. We also have 2 of Pentacles. Sorry, I was reading that instead of counting. We also have 5 of Swords and Queen of Wands. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have 7 of Swords. Oh my gosh, the 7 of Swords is so important here, because with it being on the bottom of the deck, I feel like it just completely reinforces what I was saying about people like hiding their intentions from you, or trying to like put up a facade, you know, to try and like deceive you. And I just feel like with the Queen of Wands, like, you'll have none of it. I know the way I've been like talking about you is like, or like describing like your demeanor and the way you come off to people, it comes off as like you're like this like ooh like shy person that's like would never hurt a fly or like burp in front of anyone. And I just don't feel like that's true, but it's just like at the base of everything, like what I'm trying to say is that your intentions are in fact consistently pure, and that you are a good person, you know? And like, obviously not to say that like in any way was you being a bad person implied here, but I'm just trying to say that like maybe at times you can come off as abrasive, or there are times where you will in fact light it up, if you know what I mean. But I just feel like, once again, it's all in good nature. It's all in the name of something, you know, and what you believe in, what you love, all of that's good stuff. And I just feel like with the 7 of Swords on the bottom of the deck, it really goes to show that like people are really jealous of the fact that like, I don't know, like, I don't think it's very common for people to be jealous of you, but when they are, it's quite powerful, and it's a little bit subtle, you know, because like, once again, they try very hard to hide it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that are jealous of you, and they like try to like pat it down, or like they try not to let it get in the way too much, simply because like they know that you are a good intentioned person. They would never try to like, you know, like show their envy or something towards you. But I do feel like there's a lot of people that have known you in the past before that were secretly jealous of you, and they'd like unconsciously, maybe consciously, but I feel like unconsciously they try to keep you in a box, thinking that they were trying to protect you, but really they were holding you back. And it was all because like they thought they were helping you, you know what I mean? Like, just this common theme here of like, not everyone that's been jealous of you has been a bad person, but I feel like consistently across the board, the way that they have tried to like keep that jealousy at bay, or the way they've expressed it, has been very detrimental to you, whether you realize it or not. And I feel like with the 5 of Swords being here, it just really confirms it, because I feel like there are times where you have cut people off, or there are times where you have been like, you know what, like, I'm sorry, like, you're a great friend, I love you, you're fun, but I just like, I can't be friends with you anymore. And I just feel like that's definitely something else, something that people are probably jealous of, is that like you're able to make I feel like you're a risk taker. Pile 2. I don't think that you're like a risk taker, but a risk taker, you know? I feel like you're able to see, like, once again, like, if you have a vision, you're able to take these leaps of faith in the name of something and really be brave when the situation when it really counts. You're a very brave person, and somebody who isn't afraid to go after something, even if it means suffering or anything of that nature, you know? Like, I just feel like when you have a vision, you'll stop at nothing to go after it. And there's this sort of tenacity about you, or kind of like this like indescribable determination that a lot of people see in you, that they won't, like, they just get very jealous of it, or they get very shy, you know, or they're like, oh wow, like I could never do what Pile 2 did, or like, wow, I could never do what you did, you know. I feel like a lot of people express their jealousy in like praise to you, you know. I feel like you should be careful, Pile 2, because I do think that a lot of people have accidentally given you the evil eye, or like you're very susceptible to the evil eye, you know. I remember there's this TikTok my friend sent me a really long time ago, and this girl had like really nice teeth in the TikTok. She had really nice teeth, and a lot of people were like, wow, like your teeth are so perfect and stuff like that, like, wow, I wish I had your teeth and stuff. And then like a few days later, she like posted that like something broke her teeth, you know what I mean? Just like, people giving you backhanded compliments and be like, wow, like I could never do what you did, or wow, like I can't believe you're doing that, or wow, I can't believe you look so good and stuff like that. But it's like very backhanded. It's very like, whether you realize it or not, like no matter how nice it comes off, like I do think at the base of it, it's very backhanded and from a place of insecurity, you know, of thinking that like if they praise you, like they'll get something back in return. And I feel like you're very intuitive, and once again, you're very understanding of your emotions, and you're very good at looking into these situations. And I feel like you're able to see right through these people right from the get-go. I think that you've had a lot of practice, especially if we do have Gemini energy here. I feel like you could be a Gemini moon. I just feel like there's something about the moon. Something about Moon, Mercury, and Venus. I just feel like maybe you have some conjunctions between those planets, or like some aspects. And I also feel like with the Two of Pentacles and the Temperance card and the Queen of Wands, it really does go to show that like you also have this way of balancing your life. And I feel like you've cultivated a lifestyle that's perfect for you, you know? I feel like a lot of you have worked very hard to get to where you are now. I don't think that you're satisfied just yet. I think that there's still a lot of work to be done. But I feel like you've created something really great for yourself, and you've done some pretty amazing things for yourself. And it's just like, people are very, very jealous of that. That's one thing I will say that you probably have in common with Pile 1. And it's just a little bit different though, because like for Pile 1, I was saying like, oh, like people don't see the hard work you put in to get what you have. And so therefore they only see what you have, and they're like, oh, like you're getting that for free. But for you, I feel like people like see that you're working hard to get what you want, and they see like you getting from point A to B. They don't really see all the struggles from point A to B, but also like I just feel like sometimes people are like, why did they get that opportunity, you know? And I feel like, you see what I mean? Like it really boils down to that. I feel like above all else, that when people are jealous of you in particular, Pile 2, it's literally just, okay, but why them, you know? And I feel like you're just like, okay, but why not me, you know? I think I'm going to sum up your reading, Pile 2, by just saying that people are jealous of you and people are very envious of you. But the way that they express it can become like kind of like lost within the way that they kind of deliver it, you know? Because sometimes it comes off as very nice. It comes off as very like sweet and considerate, but it's actually very backhanded at the base of it, you know? Like I keep saying, just like, oh, like that's really nice, Pile 2. Or like, you know, if you did something nice with your skincare, you're like, oh, your skin looks amazing, my skin can never, and stuff like that. And like you see what I mean? Like it comes off like, oh wow, my skin can never, like your skin looks so good. Or like, you know, like you have a really nice apartment, like, oh my gosh, I love where you live, like I can't move out yet because I still live with my parents and I'm not doing anything for my, you know what I'm saying, Pile 2? It's just like, I feel like it's one of those things that maybe not all the time do you see it, but like I just feel like you leave these conversations and these interactions feeling a little bit uneasy or even drained. And it's just like, it's because these people are energetic vampires, and they really just like, they really do hate to see somebody else thrive as much as like they are without them thriving with them, you know? And like because of that, maybe you've attracted narcissists before. And I feel like for you, like I told Pyle, I think narcissists are going to be brought up like across the board today in all 4 piles. And I feel like the way that they react is very important to point out, just because like, Pile 2, just be careful around the narcissist. I'm being serious, and you know. But I feel like you have attracted narcissists that like once again thought that they were helping you, or like trying to paint themselves in a way that were helping you, and it probably really hurt you if you have been in that ordeal, you know. But like obviously, like if you haven't, then like, you know, don't take that message. But you know, like even setting that whole fiasco aside, it's just about the fact that people are very like, they try to express kindness or like admiration for you, but like really it's from a place of jealousy and envy, and from being unable to do what you're doing for themselves, and they'd rather just like project it in a way that comes off as nice to make themselves feel better, to make themselves feel like they're like being nice and stuff like that. But really it's from a place of like jealousy. And I think that, you know, once again, Pile 2, I'm pretty sure this is just confirmation, because I feel like maybe at times it makes you feel a little bit crazy, or it makes you feel like, oh, like I don't know, like it just doesn't feel good, you know. But like, just know you're not crazy. And yeah, it's just like you have like a beautiful relationship with yourself, and you probably do have beautiful relationships. And I do think that like in a lot of your relationships that you've had to cut off, it was because people were giving you that like backhanded treatment, or like trying to act like they were like helping you, but they like weren't. So yeah, and it's just like you have a way of balancing it out and dealing with it, you know? And there's a way that like you assert yourself in the way that like you go about your power that people are very envious of, you know? Like people try to exploit the fact that you're a good, kind person and that you truly wouldn't hurt a fly. And they try to take advantage of that, and it's just like you won't tolerate it, you know? And you've cut a lot of people off that thought that they would be around for a long time in your life, but you're like, nope, bye. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated. And if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like a personal reading, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. So yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the Pink Pain Tarot, this is going to be a reading for why are people envious of you? Now, before we get into the tarot, I do have some more oracle cards today, so let's get right into them. I love shuffling them on camera. I don't know, just I feel like it helps me pace out the reading better, so it's just my vibe, you know? But yeah, oh, I just ate some pancakes because, I don't know, I was just craving pancakes, and I feel so much better. Why are people envious of Pile 3? Like, when I eat and then do a reading, I swear the reading is, like, legendary. It's just so much better. Why are people envious? Oh, my God. Why are people envious of Pile 3? Oh, there it goes. We have the bear, as you can see. Sorry, I'm just, like, knocking everything over. Good God. Okay, the bear. Okay, so I pulled out the guidebook for Pile 1, and I ended up really liking the context it provided and the way it like set the tone for the reading. So I'm pulling it out for every single pile. Just because, you know, like, I don't know. Okay, we have the bear waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew. After a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort are difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move toward the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of this spiritual quest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles. But you have no choice, bear. Winter wanes, the warmth of spring emerges, and your transformation begins. So, right off the bat, the vibes that gave me is that, like, there's things that you're able to do that people simply cannot get themselves to do, you know? I feel like in that entry, it's pretty easy to assume, like, you know, just like bears, like, I feel like when you don't want to do something, you're very much able to still get yourself to do it, you know? And in a reasonably, like, a timely manner. There we go. And I feel like a lot of people are envious because you're simply stepping forward to do the things that maybe a lot of other people wouldn't be able to do, you know? This gives me like a lot of fixed vibes, especially Taurus, and I think it's a little bit ironic because when I was talking about food in the beginning, I immediately thought of Taurus because I'm a Taurus moon. So maybe you're a Taurus moon too, or maybe you just have major Taurus placements. And if you do, tell me what's your favorite food. But, you know, I just feel like the bear card is just giving me like independence vibes because, you know, like we don't really see bears travel in packs that often, you know, and usually you see them by themselves, if like maybe with another bear and like a cub, you know, but like usually it's not that many. So like the reason I'm mentioning that is because I also feel like there's this quality about you that shows that you aren't too interested in being surrounded by people just for the sake of being surrounded by people. I feel like you're a very independent person. I feel like you're the kind of person that can go to places alone. You like being by yourself. You really appreciate your solitude, especially when you're asleep. Something about that. Maybe people are jealous of the sleep you get. Maybe you get really good sleep and people are like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could get good sleep like that. I don't know. But I also just feel like it gives me a ton of like, it just seems as if though a lot of the envy people feel for you is just like, it's very sporadic and it's more directed towards quality of life as opposed to like, I don't know how to describe it because it just feels like people feel like you live very much in solitude or keeping to yourself no matter how much you seem to put yourself out there. So there is just this air of mystery to you, but also it's just like they can tell that you live comfortably. They can tell that you live in a way that is true to yourself. And also just like I said, you're probably an independent person and somebody who doesn't like to be around people that much, you know? And with all being said, that just gives me this vibe that like people may like try to like slander you or like talk about you in a way that's like, you know, like I feel like the gossip around you is just very sporadic and it all kind of revolves around the fact that you seem to be somebody like people can kind of come up with their own conclusions for it. I wouldn't be surprised if like you're one of those people that like you were in school or something and like you literally did nothing but show up to class, go to sleep, and then like leave with like all A's, and everyone like came up with these crazy rumors, you know, that like, oh, like, did you know they're doing this? Did you know? And I feel like maybe you tuned in from time to time, or like maybe you're just like really surprised. You're like, guys, I literally don't do anything. How did you, you know? And it's just because like people are very intimidated by you, and people, they flock together because they are not used to somebody being so like comfortable with themselves and not afraid of the voices in their head, if you know what I mean. And you know, I feel like the way I'm describing this is kind of like vague and kind of like all over the place, you know, like I feel like I've been very like ditzy, if that's the word for this pile. And honestly, I just feel like that's the kind of energy that people that don't know you kind of embody. It comes with this like confusion. Oh no, let me pull some more oracle cards. I chose this deck because I just thought like the plant vibe went with the animal vibe, and I was like, I like this. I like this, you guys. Okay. Why are people envious of pile 3? Why are people envious of pile 3? Okay. We have attraction. Oh my gosh. So you could be a Libra. Venus is significant here since I also did mention Taurus. Okay, sorry, I was just like thinking. But also, this is such a random thought. But when I first started playing, this is completely, I started playing Animal Crossing for the first time, like maybe like 2 years ago. And I remember my island flower was pansies. And I remember my friend was like, yeah, you got a really good island, because I remember my island fruit was peaches and I also got the pansies, and like at the time those were like really in when people were playing Animal Crossing. But the reason I'm mentioning that is just because like I feel like this goes back to the whole thing that people feel like you're very lucky, or they feel like, you know, like you live very luxuriously, you know, and they're very jealous of it. They're very envious of it because like, oh my gosh. And like I talked about Venus. So yeah, I just feel like this Venusian energy is very relevant here because people feel like you just live so at peace. You just live so calmly, you know, even when things are kind of like going haywire, people feel like you're able to keep a good head on your shoulders, you know, and you're able to kind of like maintain your composure in situations in which others would simply lose their mind. Excuse me. And I just feel like people get very jealous and envious of that because they can't really do that, you know? I feel like there are just times where maybe people come up to you during like a literal crisis, or there's just a lot of times where people come up to you because they feel like you're able to provide a lot of the stability that they are working for, you know? Like, I don't know, like, it's just like there's this serenity to you and kind of like this like air of calm around you, you know? And a lot of people envy it because like it just creates this sense of beauty, you know, like you're a very beautiful person. Like we literally have attraction here. So I just feel like there's a lot of people like that are very attracted to you. I wouldn't be surprised if like other people are jealous of you or like very like aggressive towards you because you are so attractive, you know? So they feel like they're competing with you, you know what I'm saying? It's like somebody will be out with their significant other, and their significant other is like all looking at you, and you're like flirting with them, and they're flirting with you, and it's like it's not even that you mean to flirt with them. It's just like you're just such an attractive person that like you know, it's just those vibes, you know. And I feel like with that being said, you probably reflect the energy of people back at them, you know. And so I feel like that's another thing that like makes people angry when they come at you sideways, is because like you're like, hey, I'm just treating you the way you're treating me. I don't know why you're getting all angry right now, you know. And it adds this level of frustration because people are like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like no one can really approach you correctly, you know. The only way to approach you correctly is to be like a decent, respectful human being, which obviously should be the norm. But I think that you know just as well as anyone else, Pile Through, that people are not always like that. And there are people that just randomly beef with you simply because they feel like you're getting more attention than they are. And they just like, they have like this unconscious desire, like, to just compete with you and try to like beat you in some way, you know. And it's just like, it's very frustrating for them, and they're very envious of you for that. They feel like you get a lot of attention, and if interested, I feel like you get a lot of male attention. You could also like, you know, it like doesn't matter like if you're like a guy, like you probably get like a lot of female attention. Like the point is that you dominate the dating scene. You dominate, you know, that kind of what is it called? That feel, there we go, of, you know, like people being attractive and people being into each other, and, you know, just like all of that jazz, you know. I feel like, you know, I could go into like pretty detailed details about how people like, it's just like a love or hate thing. Like the people that love you freaking love you, Pile Through, but the people that do not like you, they really hate you, you know. They really don't like you. And I feel like you definitely understand this, and I think that it's one of those things where like it's rare that people dislike you, because I just feel like with this Venusian energy here, like you are such an easy person to like, and you are a very charming personality. And I just feel like that's why I'm pretty sure like a lot of the envy people feel towards you is a lot more innocent, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if friends are like, oh, like I wish I, you know, had your looks, you know, like you're so pretty and stuff. I really do feel like a lot of the jealousy you feel is a lot more, you know, like tame, and it's a lot less aggressive, because I just feel like you're such a charming individual, and you're very modest probably, and you're not someone who like overly brags or like flaunts, you know, unless like, you know, obviously like it's not to say that like you're like, you know, like uwu, like hiding your face and like all shy. Like I do feel like you know how to show yourself off. I do think that you know how to put yourself out there when you want to, but I just feel like overall you're very modest, you're very humble, and I feel like it all goes back to the whole thing that you live your life in kind of solitude, and you live your life very calmly, you know, that Venus energy, and that you're just not very interested in causing a lot of drama or living too loud, you know, if you know what I mean. I just feel like a quiet, beautiful life is one that you desire, and I feel like that's why it's kind of hard to come by people that are like actively jealous of you. But I feel like when they are jealous of you, it is like the craziest like competitive thing where they just like, oh my gosh, like they want my man, or like, you know, they, you know, like something like that, you know. And I feel like you've probably been caught in a lot of crossroads where people like, you can tell that they're literally trying to compete with you, and they're trying to like one up you in some way, and you're just like, girl, I'm not worried about you, you know. Like I just feel like these people look very silly, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like, wow, like I'm really out here existing, and these people are coming up with all these rumors and stuff, and like trying to make fun of me, or like trying to like compete with me, even though I'm literally just like betting on myself, you know. And yeah, I just feel like a lot of the jealousy you feel, like I said, is just like, or like the jealousy people feel towards you is very like innocent, and it's very like casual, you know. It's like, oh, like I wish I had your bone structure, oh, I wish I had a body like yours, or oh, I love your personality, or oh my gosh, I wish I had, you know, that thing, you know. Like it's just like, it's very innocent, and I think that a lot of these people just like genuinely want to be friends with you, and I feel like these people really like you and they really admire you. But I feel like when it comes to like the dating scene, and you know, like I think that there's a lot of people that are quite literally below you, and like they just like try to like compete with you, you know. I don't know, there's like a lot of low vibe, like I feel like you have been in some situations where you've attracted some really low vibrational people, and like the things they say and do, like either in front of you and behind your back, it doesn't matter, it's pretty crazy, just because like I feel like a lot of the people like outside of like you and me and like the people, you know, like they'd be surprised to see like how can you not like Pile Through, or like why are you jealous of, you know, like it's just like how can you not like them, you know, just because like they're so nice about it and they're so humble. Why are people envious of pile 3? Why are people envious of pile 3? Okay. We have childhood. I think it's interesting that we pull a card like this because it really does feel like maybe there are people who are jealous of your childhood, or like there's just people that feel like you had a good childhood, or it's just like because like I said, like you kind of portray this energy of being very independent and feeling like, you know, like you're very composed and you're very beautiful and very elegant, and just something about you is very steadily serene, you know? Steadily serene, there we go. And because of that, I feel like a lot of people assume that like you had a very good childhood, and whether or not you did, it's just like you come off that way just because you're able to kind of display a sense of like maturity and a love and this kind of innocence that a lot of other people can't really embody, or a lot of people can't really find within themselves, you know, or in the people that they surround themselves with. So as a result, maybe you come off as like an alien to them, and maybe they like try to alienate you, you know, and like try to like set you apart because like they feel like very insecure, or they feel like, oh my gosh, like they had like a good life and like I haven't, you know. So like let me just like talk about them instead of just like admitting the fact that like it's okay to like have traumas of my own. I don't know. IDK. I don't know, like it's just very it's one of those situations where if I describe it, it is just so ridiculous because like once again, like I've been saying this whole reading that like you're just a very likable person, you know, pile 3. And so like as a result, I just feel like it's very rare that like people like are jealous of you, but when they are, it's just like the craziest reasons, you know. And honestly, I feel like it's just low vibrational people really don't need a specific reason or like any particular justification in order to kind of display these kind of like negative emotions and things like that. But it's still like on paper something that's pretty ridiculous, and I think that it goes to show here that people are jealous of the most random things about you, but it definitely has to do with your home life and your level of stability and also your attractiveness to the general majority. So yeah, let's get into the tarot here. Whew. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know, like something I feel like I'm drawing up a lot of blanks here, or I feel like I'm kind of like mentioning like here and there things, and I feel like that goes to show like the people who feel genuine like that like venomous envy towards you, they're definitely like the needle in the haystacks, but like I said, when they do feel it, it's pretty strong, it's very potent, very toxic, honestly. And I almost wonder if you've been in drama with relationships, or if people have like caused drama over relationships with you. That's just like a loose thought. Because like once again, like there's a lot of people that like feel like they're competing with you. Okay. Why are people envious of pile 3? Why are people envious of pile 3? Okay. We have 3 of cigarettes. We have King of Knives. I almost wonder if there's people that are jealous that you like had a father. I don't know. Every time I pull the King of Knives, I always like think it refers to like a father figure. We have Queen of Cigarettes. Doesn't have to be the case. I just like thought I'd mention that. And 3 of Pills. And 10 of cigarettes. And then we have the Emperor. Okay, with the 10 of cigarettes and the 3 of pills, there's something about it that like, by the way, pills correlates to pentacles and then cigarettes correlates to wands. I have a lot of wands here. But the thing I was getting with the 10 of cigarettes is that like, you're somebody who works really hard for the luxurious life that you live. And I feel like not a lot of people, like, they see how hard you work. So I don't think that they, like, become, like, venomous jealous. But, like, I feel like with the Bear card, it once again goes back to the fact that there's a lot of people that are jealous of the fact that you're able to buckle down and accomplish things when you really want to, you know? It's just, like, when you're determined, I feel like you're able to move mountains quite literally too, I'm feeling, I just feel like you're such a capable person, and you're somebody who, when motivated and sees a goal in the grand scheme of things, you're able to do some pretty crazy things. And I feel like a lot of people are jealous of that simply because like they don't know how you find the motivation to do it, So it's the sense of like, they feel like you're able to do things that they can't do. It's like, oh, I could never do what Pilot 3 did, or I could never work as hard as Pilot 3 did, And it's just like, I feel like you're very far along in this journey in your life, regardless of what it may be, or like when you are far along in a journey, people are always like, oh, I don't know how you did that. Like, I wish I could have done what you did. Like, oh, I would never, and you're like, no, but like I started like where you were one day too, I feel like your motto is like the hardest part is starting something, but I just feel like once you have begun something, like you really do see it out to the end, and you're able to like complete so many projects and with so much like quality, like something about you like just gives me this feeling that when you invest in a project, it is like all in. Like, I feel like you're the kind of person that like you save up to buy like one big expensive thing as opposed to consistently buying little trinkets along the way, Like I feel like, like this is such a random example. I feel like as opposed to like buying 5 little necklaces or like buying them as you get paid, like 5 cute little necklaces, they're a little bit cheap. I feel like you're the kind of person that would save up to buy like a really nice necklace, like solid gold, solid whatever, Like I just feel like you're so attracted to like these like really luxurious luxe nice things, and obviously like you work very hard for them, and whether or not people see that, it's just like they're still very envious of the fact that either A, you're able to go after it and actually get it, or B, they don't even see the hard work outright and they're just like, oh my gosh, like they have all these nice things, like they must have like a really nice job or something like that. And it's just like, it's one of those situations where like you live luxuriously regardless of your situation. Like you could literally be working a 6-figure job, or you could be working at a fast food joint. But like either way, like you're the kind of person that would save up for the nice things that you crave, And so it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. It's just like the way you live is like very nice and it's very high quality, Especially since like we have that Venusian energy here. Like Venus, like girl, if you know, I have a Libra Mars and I have a Taurus moon. I will save up until the end of time to buy one really nice thing as opposed to buying like 10 million little cute things, Like that's just who I am. And I'm sure like if you have any of these placements that I've been talking about, namely Taurus and Libra, then you simply know the vibes. Leo could be relevant here too, and maybe Cancer, just because I feel like those 2 signs are very interested in comfortable things too and very nice things too. Maybe Capricorn too, but I just feel like Libra and Taurus is just like so that energy of buying really expensive things, And also, with the King of Knives and the Queen of Cigarettes, I feel like it really does go to show like maybe like people are jealous of like your father figure. I don't know. That's just like a random thought, because every time I pull the King of Knives, I think it references like a father figure or something. Or people could be jealous of like a masculine energy that you have in your life. But, aside from that, I just feel like the King of Knives goes to the fact that I feel like you have like this diplomatic nature about you, Obviously, since we have that Libra energy here. And like, once again, like, it doesn't matter if you have those placements. It's more of the energy more than anything, And also, like, Aries could be significant here since we have the Emperor. So maybe any of the signs that I have mentioned, you could have those in your Venus sign. So you could have like a Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, Taurus, or Libra Venus, But I just feel like the Queen of Cigarettes and King of Knives together, along with the Emperor card, really shows that like you're somebody who is comfortable in their power, and you're somebody who will stop at nothing to be in their power, And there's just something so admirable about that, There's just something so like tenacious about you. And also with the 3 of Cigarettes and the 3 of Pills, I think it's interesting that we have 2 number 3s here. So the number 3 could be significant here. But I just feel like those 2 cards together, like once again, signifies a very charming person and somebody who is able to make progress and dominate the social scene just by their wits and just their like appearances and, their charm. And I just feel like that's something that people are very jealous of. I feel like there's a lot of people that are very jealous of how quickly you're able to get people to like you or how quickly you're able to make friends. I feel like you're a boss at making friends, but I feel like it goes to the fact that, like, just because you're good at making friends doesn't mean that you have a lot of friends. I think that the energies that I have mentioned here really do, like, represent somebody who is interested in having 2 extremely good friends as opposed to, like, 10, like, okay friends, you know? Like, once again, it's just this quality over quantity thing we have going here. I just feel like that standard that you're able to set for yourself is definitely something people are very jealous of you. It's just like your discipline that you practice and that you carry with you and maybe teach to others is just like, it's so admirable. But like, obviously on the other side of admiration we have jealousy. So there are a lot of people that are very jealous of the fact that you're able to kind of maintain yourself and keep your composure, because I feel like there's a lot of people that, like, don't know how to behave with, like, their resources, or don't know how to, you know, like, properly work towards the goals that they set for themselves. And I think that that is just one of the situations why people are jealous of you, simply because they feel like what you're doing is, like, something that they could never do, you know? And they may even blame it on the craziest things, you know? I feel like people will be like, oh, like, I can't do what you did because I'm, like, younger than you, or I can't do what you did because I didn't have, like, good training, or, like, I can't do what you did because I didn't have the same opportunities as you know. It's just like people come up with the crazy excuses for not being able to match up to your energy, and I think that that's when you know, because I feel like there's a lot of insecure people that are very drawn towards you because of, like, your charming, like, Venusian energy, you know? And I almost wonder if there's a lot of people that try to, like, get into your life because they feel like they'll, like, embody that energy if they're, like, next to you, you know? So they, like, treat you like kind of like a trophy, you know, like, hey, like, I'm friends with them, you know? And it's very, like, objectifying, it's very dehumanizing, honestly. And I think that that's another one of those scenarios where it's like, it sounds crazy on paper, but in practice it's probably happened way more than you think. And I just feel like it all goes to show that, like, there's a lot of people that are very, they hide in plain sight with their intentions when it comes to their jealousy, and they definitely get, like, nervous about it. I don't know. And I also feel like with the King of Knives and the Emperor, like, those 2 cards specifically together, I just feel like it really shows, like, you're not afraid to speak your mind, or I feel like you're very, like, you probably have, like, one hell of a tongue, honestly. I feel like you're able to kind of, like, really tell people for what it is. And I think that maybe there are times where you have said things that, like, other people are too afraid to say, you know? And I feel like there's a lot of spineless people that are very envious of that, because they just, like, they really admire the fact that you're able to say things that what they're thinking, but, like, you actually have the guts to say it, you know? I feel like in a classroom, like, there will be a bunch of people and they'll all be, like, you know, like, thinking the same thing, but you're the one that actually says and, like, does it or something. And so, like, they probably get, like, really jealous or, like, very intimidated, or they're just like, wow, like, I can't believe they said it, you know? I was thinking the same thing, but, like, I can't believe they actually said it, you know? It's another scenario where there's a lot of people that aren't able to do what you do simply because they're afraid to do it, or whatever else excuses they may come up with. And so, like, as a result, they just, like, they would rather be jealous of you, or they would rather, like, you know, just, like, hide in the shadows and, like, admire you from afar, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if there's, like, a lot of people that want to be friends with you. I feel like through jealousy, a lot of people, like, the idea, or, like, entertain the idea of, like, you know, befriending you or being around you more. I think I'm going to sum up your reading pile 3, because I feel like I've been saying, like, the same thing over and over, like, 5 million times. And that is that I feel like a lot of people are envious of you in a very friendly way. I feel like envious isn't really the correct word. For some people it is envy, but I feel like for most it's just, like, innocent jealousy, you know? You know, like, oh, like, I wish I had what you had, you know, things like that, you know? It's very lighthearted, it's very sweet, you know? But I feel like there's a lot of times where, like, there are, like, one of those bad apples that, like, it's very envious, like, fists clenched kind of vibe, because, like, they feel like you have something that they can't have, or they feel like you embody something that they are working for, you know? Like, for example, someone, like, hits the gym, like, every single day to, like, have the figure that you just naturally have, you know? And it's, like, very frustrating to them. It's like, why them, you know? And they feel like you're just very lucky. They feel like it's just your genetics and things like that, and they just, like, try to come up with all these crazy ways to, like, discredit you, or kind of, like, act like you're, like, below them or in something, or that, like, as if their hard work, like, is just, like, a one-up on you, but it's just, like, you're not even trying to compete with them, you know, and you're just kind of, like, living your life and living in solitude and being quiet, and it's just, like, that makes them even more furious because they feel like you're acting better than them, when, like, it's just, like, girl, like, I'm not trying to compete with you, you know, it's like, that's not how this is gonna go down. And I also feel like there's a lot of situations where people have been attracted to you, and those people most definitely have a partner already or have had a partner and they just recently broke up, and their partner is just, that partner is like, girl, like why is this person taking my man, or like why is this person taking my woman, like why is this person, you know, and you're just like, I'm not trying to, like, you need to come get them, like, please, like, get them off of me, like, thank you. And they're just like frustrated, you know, because like, how are they not doing anything? They're just like you know what I mean? It's just like they drive themselves insane because like you're a charming person and you're somebody who seemingly has like a really nice background, and they just get like really jealous, you know, they get very envious. They're like, oh, I literally can feel it, you know. It's just like this mindless this frustration where, like, you know, not even saying words correctly, they're just like, oh my gosh, like, are you kidding me? Like, that vibe. Like, you see this image, this is how they feel. Just like sulking in their anger, sulking in like their bad habits and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you know, like, it's very frustrating to them. It's very angering. Like, oh my gosh, like, why can't I be like Pile 3? Or like, oh my gosh, like, why can't Pile 3 just leave so I can be in the spotlight again? Whew. I think that's it. Okay, that's just like really the vibes, you know. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 3. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the Tarot of the Divine, this is going to be your reading for why are people envious of you? Now, before we get into the tarot, I do want to pull some oracle cards, so let's get right into it. I love shuffling the oracle cards on camera. I don't know, like, I just feel like it helps me pace out the reading better, and I feel like it helps me, like, it makes the reading make more sense, at least. I don't know. And, like, also, it just, like, adds points, because, like, you guys know that I'm not, like, making this up. Like, why would I make this up? But, like, at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm just crazy. Why are people envious of Pile 4? Why are people envious of Pile 4? Oh, okay. We have the cheetah. Okay, so I pulled out the guidebook for Pile 1 on this deck, and I ended up really liking the way it set the mood for the reading, so I've been pulling it out for every pile. So, yeah, let's just read what it says for the cheetah. It says, solar force, action, achievement, masculine energy. The cheetah is the epitome of the solar forces at work. The sun doesn't shine onto the cheetah, it shines from inside this great creature and expands outward to brighten the universe. The energy within a cheetah personality is palpable to others, and they naturally attract an audience to bear witness to their remarkable achievements. Purpose and passion are the best fuel for a cheetah's forward momentum, so if you're lacking in those areas, reconnect to the why before you start running. Now, I just feel like there's a lot of things with that entry that could signify why people are envious of you. But first of all, I just feel like you have like this, like, I feel like you could like have like Leo placements or like 5th house placements, or you could have like a fire sign in your 5th house or like a fire ascendant. So you could be a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries rising and you could or have just like a fire sign in the 5th house. But you know, regardless of the case here, I just feel like this sun energy is very relevant here, because it seems as if though like you have like kind of like this performative grandeur energy about you that really shows that like you do things with a little bit of flair and you do things a little bit extra. Maybe in your lifetime people have called you extra, or people have like told you consistently to like tone it down, or that you're doing too much. And let me tell you, Pile 4, it's because those people are boring and they literally would rather like bring you down than just to like turn up with you, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if you've had a lot of people that get embarrassed around you or stuff like that, because like they are just like, they're people who live in their shell, you know? Like they live life too carefully, so much so that they can't even really enjoy it. And so like when they see you enjoying your life the way that you like enjoying it, they get very envious. But obviously, it's like projected a specific way to where they don't really express outwardly, like, you know, like they're jealous of you or like they're competing with you, but more so they're outright trying to like shut you down or like, you know, like make you feel bad about who you are because they can't handle who they are themselves and they can't live in their truth and things like that. And so like, oh, with that being said, I also just feel like there's this energy of like there are a lot of people who are very dishonest with themselves and very fake. I feel like you've dealt with a lot of fake people in your lifetime, and I think that it is because like I feel like it comes with like this air because, as I'm saying, like there's a lot of fake people that have probably passed through your life, and I think that the way that they treated you was purely out of jealousy. And I feel like there were times where people hung out with you simply because it was like convenient or something. I don't know. I think that you've had a lot of like interesting run-ins with like dates and supposed friendships because there's a lot of people that like try to act like a specific way to like get to know you, and they ended up being something completely different, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that were maybe using you or trying to like get to something through you, you know, because like you exude this confidence and this kind of like zest for life that a lot of other people like just can't embody, you know. And so like obviously like I'm sure you can tell like where the jealousy comes in, but it's just like they feel like you're having way more fun than they are, you know. And I feel like this also translates to like objects. There's a certain thing about you to where like you can really make the best out of any situation, and because of that, no matter what you get, people are seemingly very jealous of you, you know. I would check which house you have Leo in, because that can kind of signify why people are jealous of you or like what about you people are jealous of. But I think that as a rule of thumb here, it's giving me this vibe like, for example, two people can like you and another person can both be handed an ice cream cone or like a sandwich, and they're both literally the exact same thing, like identical, like they are twins, like that. Those two ice cream cones that you guys possess are like twins. Okay, there's nothing different about them, but it's just like the way that you are eating it and the way that you're really enjoying it, and you're like, wow, I freaking love this ice cream cone. The other person will literally be like, I want yours, or like I want theirs, you know. Like, how come they get the same thing that I did, you know? Like it's because like the way you're able to enjoy the things that you're given and to be grateful for anything that you get is just like, it's contagious to the people that really love you and care about you. And I think that you know who those people are. But for the people who are like insecure, and for the people who are competitive too much for their own good, and you know, just like all of the above, they just immediately see that like whatever you have, even if like what they have is better, they're just like, oh my gosh, like I want what they have, you know. And I feel like you run into this a lot. I feel like there's a specific emphasis on like the material goods simply because like maybe you grew up with siblings, you know. So in that sense, maybe you could have like Leo in your third house. But you know, like a lot of Leo here, a lot of Leo I'm like mentioning, but it could really be any fire sign. I just feel like Leo is definitely the energy that I'm feeling here. And you know, even if you don't have like major Leo placements, it's just the energy that's present of like somebody who is living very, I'm not sure if vicariously is the word, but like somebody who's living very vivaciously, you know, somebody who's very excited, somebody who has an unwavering optimism for this lifetime and an immense appreciation for life itself and gratitude, you know. I feel like you've gone through a lot of things that kind of caused you to like understand that being grateful and being humble and loving exactly what you get is the way to live. I wouldn't be surprised if like there was a time in your life where a lot of people tried to like get you to be pessimistic with them, or there were a lot of pessimistic people around you and it like really drained you. I just feel like the way you live now is like wildly indicative of a lifestyle that no longer serves you, in the sense that like I just feel like the way that you live now is in spite of a lifestyle that you used to have to live that you absolutely hated, you know. And it's just like, even if that isn't the case here, it's just the fact that like there's a specific reason why you live the way you live, you know. And like you have somebody, you're just a very philosophical person. I feel you're very intelligent, and you know, like you have this way of like learning, and you have this way of taking in information and kind of observing the life around you that's very like, it's very like, I just feel like you're a very philosophy oriented person. You're probably somebody who's very intelligent. Like you could be really into teaching, you're probably into different philosophies, and you know, like different laws, like law of attraction, law of assumption, and all these things. Like, I just feel like you're very thirsty for knowledge, and I feel like you're somebody who is always kind of looking into things deeper, and kind of like digging deeper. I feel like you're somebody who loves getting answers no matter what it takes, and I feel like there's something about that also makes people envious, simply because they don't have like the patience, the wits, or like the intelligence to kind of navigate the situations that you're able to kind of get through. And I just feel like something about that is definitely relevant here, because I feel like you're a very smart person, because I think that like you're a very intentional person, like the way you don't live the way you live just because like you're trying to run away from something. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you're deeper than that, Maybe you come off as somebody with like a heart of nails, or somebody who is like, like doesn't really care, and somebody who's careless or reckless, But it's just like, you have like this divine faith in everything, and you have like this unwavering belief in things working out and stuff like that. And I feel like as a result, you're able to take these risks and shine as bright as you do, because you know the secrets, and you know how to kind of embrace your own identity, your humanity, your mortality, and the fact that you're a very spiritual being, And I feel like a lot of people that are very cynical in particular, or very like not as emotional you are, or not as sentient as you are especially jealous of you. But I feel like they like project it in outright hate, or like even violence, or just like anger, because it's like they just like they don't know how to react to somebody living so like calmly, like I don't know how to describe it. It's just like you're living, it doesn't matter how you're living. It's just like, I dare to say that like you just live, like you're just living, like living life as intended. And people who feel like there are a bunch of rules and all this things that overcomplicate life and things like that, I feel like those people definitely are very insecure and very not okay with themselves in so many different ways. And I think that if you're the kind of person that has been there before, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, even if you don't, it's just like when you are living untruthfully to yourself, disregarding all like the spiritual stuff, astrology, like religion, anything like that, when you are just living untruthfully to yourself and your own values and what you've been taught and what you like, it's just like it turns you into a very cynical person, and somebody who's very bitter and very angry. And whenever you see somebody that's living the way that maybe you deep down wish you could have lived, or feel like that was how it was meant to be, but like it ended up not being for you, it can feel like very like, okay, but why them, or like, if I can't have it, nobody can, And I feel like you attract a lot of those people, or I feel like a lot of people are very drawn towards you that are like that, because they are so set on like canceling the journey for everybody else instead of like getting their own tickets. I don't know. It's just like, it's very sad. Also, I just saw 11:11 right on the timer, which is like very interesting, because I don't know. It's just like, there's just something about you that shows like you have like this unwavering faith and kind of like this excitement, And a lot of people are jealous of that. And I think that you guys have run into a lot of people being very rude to you, and just know like it is because there's something about you that they lack, and they just feel like you have something that they tried getting at some point but failed, and like ultimately they didn't keep trying like you did, because like they truly lost faith in one, mishap, And with that being said, did they really believe in the first place? Anyways, I really like the way this deck looks with like this deck, like just like the plants and then the animals. Also, I've been asking this to every pile 4. I don't know if I asked pile 3. Shoot. I'm just gonna pretend I did. But tell me your Venus sign down below. I don't know. I just been asking everyone. I love hearing about your guys' Venus signs. I'm always asking, like, even if you already told me once, just tell me again. I don't know. Why are people envious of pile 4? Wow. I'll take the grape. That was so aggressive and loud. Did you see that? I know you've seen that. It's kind of embarrassing. Anyways. Okay, we have the grape. Oh, wow, Sagittarius and number 23. But, yeah, I do think that Sagittarius is relevant here. I feel like the 9th and 5th house are extremely important here. It doesn't really matter what placements you have in those. You could have, like, some planets in the 9th or 5th house, but especially like your Jupiter, I feel like you could have some like major aspects of like your Jupiter. Like maybe you have like Jupiter like aspects between your sun, just because like those are like the bodies that we've been talking about. But, you know, like, with the abundance card being here, I also feel like there's a sense of royalty about you. Because I associate grapes being associated with, like, I associate it with royalty because, you know, like, in the movies, like, we see, like, really, like, rich people and, like, monarchies and stuff being fed grapes by, like, some, like, fool or peasant, you know? And maybe that's your vibe, but even if it isn't, it's just the fact that, like, there's something about you that exudes, like, royalty, you know? And interesting because we have the color purple here, and I just feel like royal purple is, like, so the vibe. I love purple. But, you know, I just feel like there's a sort of abundance about you and something that really shows that, like, you have everything at your fingertips because you are so grateful for everything that comes your way. And so, like, as a result, it's like, even if you don't have everything that you want yet, it's just like the amount of gratitude that you display for the things that you do have. It gives this vibe of, like, people are like, oh my gosh, like, I wish, you know, like, I was as satisfied as pile 4 was. But it's just like, it's not even about the resources themselves, it's more about the perspective, you know? Like, once again, like, I just feel like I could come up with a bunch of silly analogies that kind of, like, showcases how jealous people are of you simply because, like, you're able to show an appreciation for what little or how much you may have, you know, how little or how lot you may have. Is that the word? I don't think that's the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. It's just like someone could buy, like, a mansion in, you know, like, it's like 15 bedrooms. It's like unrealistically large, and they have like 15 nice cars, like BMW, Mercedes, like, girl, you name it. They have like a Lucid, and then you're just like, you're like living in like this small suburban home, and like home being the key word here, and like you just have like a nice little 4-door sedan that you really like, you know, and like people are like, oh, like, you know, like, I feel like it's just another situation of like, I really like this, you know, like, this is my vibe, like, I'm happy here. And I feel like that person in that mansion is just like, okay, but like, they have like less than me in terms of capitalism, so like, why are they happier than me, you know? And I think this is interesting because, like, I just feel like there's a lot of times where people try to slander your interests, or people, like, really either A, people react strongly to your opinions, like, no. They react strongly to your opinions in the sense that either A, they really love your opinion, or B, they really hate your opinion. And I feel like both are from a place of, like admiration, you know? It's either admiration or envy, obviously, because it's just, like, there's a lot of people that feel like they can't live they can't live truthfully, or that they can't embrace what they like. And so, like, as a result, they just, like, turn to, like, slandering other people for what they truly like and, like, making fun of them, you know? I don't know, like, I remember one day I was, like, talking about this to a friend. I was like, you know, like, I just don't like people, like, this is just a specific example, but I don't like people that slander other people for what car they have, especially, like, car enthusiasts, you know? Because it's like, at the end of the day, like, you can talk reliability, design, you know, background, all you want with cars, but it's just like, if you really like your car, like, who cares? Like, who is gonna say anything to you that can, like, change your opinion, you know? And I feel like this is one of those scenarios where you're like, if I like something and if I appreciate something for what it is, then, like, that's just game over, you know? You cannot tell me anything. And I feel like there's a lot of people that get, like, mad about that simply because they're just like, no, like, what do you mean? Like, that's not how you do it, you know? Because, like, they got sucked into, like, capitalism and stuff like that. And it's just like, I feel like you're very much a rule breaker in that sense, in the sense that you're like, I will like what I want to like, you know? Anyways, let's pull one more oracle card before we get into the tarot. Why are people envious of pile 4? Why are people envious of pile 4? Okay, we have Spirit. Yeah. What an appropriate card to pull. I just feel like this once again reiterates the fact that, like, you have, like, this divine faith and this hope in everything working out. Like, I really do feel like you're the kind of person that embraces that everything happens for a reason kind of vibe. And I think that there's a lot of situations where, like, the way you're able to apply that and actually see it out to the end until it actually does work out the way that you intended to, or, like, the way that you saw, it's just, like, people are very astounded by that. People are amazed by that. People, like, they're either amazed, or, like, those cynical people that are envious of you, they'll be like, it was just luck, or like, oh, like, it's whatever, like, you know, it just happened, you know, like, they just got lucky, it's whatever. It's because, like, those people, like, you know, after all that's happened to them, they really do feel like it's all about luck and not opposed to the fact that, like, maybe like you deserve what you want, I don't know, because you didn't like ask to be here, so it's like, why would you not get what you want anyways? That's a whole separate conversation. But I just feel like the spirit card just shows that like there's a lot of people that are very envious of the fact that you're so comfortable with like the religious aspects of yourself, and like not even religious, like obviously if you are religious, apply it that way. But when I say religious, it's just like the sense that you believe in something, and the sense that like you feel like there's so much more to living than just like working until you die, and like obviously like in my eyes like there is, but like like you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I just feel like like there's something about you that shows that like that there's something more, and the way that you're able to put your complete faith in it and live through that and have fun, and it's just like it's clear that it's working for you, and people get very frustrated by that, or people like slander it or like look down on it. And I feel like it's also because like you don't really force it on people. I don't think that you're the kind of person, like I think that with Sagittarius here, you definitely embrace people's individualities, and you really embrace people being into what they're into, So if someone's like, oh, like I don't really believe in, the spiritual stuff, or like, things like that. You're like, oh, like I totally understand, like, it's not for everybody. Or like, they'll be, oh, I believe in God instead. Or like, oh, like I don't believe in God. Or like, that's just like, no, like I don't, you know what I mean? It's just like, despite the fact that it can be such a touchy conversation and one that can maybe cause a lot of controversy, it's like you're very open to it, and you're very open-minded, and you're very liberal with your opinions in that sense. Because like, you're just not interested in holding people back from living in their truth or living the way that they want to live, regardless of their background, their opinion, anything, I just feel like you're a humanitarian at heart, and I feel like there's a lot of people that like make fun of that simply because like they have such a discriminatory mindset that they were raised on, and it's just like they probably have like a horrible relationship with their own identity, because obviously if they're discriminatory, they feel like they should be living a specific way, and because of that, they just like project that onto you, But like deep down, they are in fact very jealous of the fact that you're able to live in your own truth. Anyways, let's get into the tarot now. I've kept you waiting long enough. Ooh. I also think it's ironic that you chose like the tarot of the divine, I just feel like out of all the cards, out of all the decks today, this one suits you so well. I'm so happy you picked this deck. Hopefully that isn't too loud anyways. Why are people envious of pile 4? Why are people envious of pile 4? We have Queen of Cups. I love this Queen of Cups. It's so pretty. We have Seven of Swords. We have the Sun card. Interesting that we pulled the Sun card, and I've been talking about Leo so much. We have Ace of Coins and Queen of Coins. I like that. Okay. And on bottom of the deck, we have Knight of Swords. I was going to say, I really like the fact that I pulled the Queen of Cups first, and then on the last card we pulled, it's Queen of Coins. Because it really just goes to show that, like, there's kind of a story being told here. Through belief and through, like, expressing your emotions and being honest with yourself and what you feel and what you feel called to. It's just, like, through getting through trickery, embracing yourself, and through all that, you're creating these opportunities. And I almost wonder if you guys have, like, created, like, a business, or if you guys like have been able to manifest a lot of resources or manifest like physical abundance in this lifetime through, you know, like your own beliefs and through manifestation and through embracing your spirituality, you know. I just feel like you're able to really like embrace like yourself, you know, like yourself, you know, like your higher self, yourself, you're like your physical self, all of the selves, you know. And through that, you're able to attract a lot of money. And I also feel like for some of you, like a mother in particular could be jealous of you. Maybe a father too, because we do have the Sun card here. But I just feel like the mother is significant here. I don't know what it is, but when I pulled the Queen of Cups, like I immediately thought of like a motherly figure, especially with the Queen of Coins. You know, I just feel like that like gives me like motherly energy. And like whether or not you are like it is your mother, but I just feel like some of you maybe have like a particular relationship with a motherly figure or like a maternal figure that like caused you like maybe they're very jealous of the way that you live, or like they try to like trap you, or they try to like deceive you, or they try to like, you know, like get you to believe or like live a specific way. And I feel like maybe for a lot of you that could have been the lesson that kind of got you to be like, hey, like I want to live within my own truth, you know, or I want to live the way like that I want to live, you know, and not how somebody else wanted you to live. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like with the Seven of Swords, there's probably a lot of people that have tried to like politely nudge you into a specific way of living, but I feel like it's all the same to you. Like I feel like anyone that like politely nudges you to kind of like live a specific way, or like even people that like aggressively nudge you to live a specific way, I feel like they're all the same to you. And I feel like you run fast AF from them. I feel like you're a runner. I feel like you're like, girl, like you will not threaten my liberty. I'm gone. I'm OWT out. And I feel like with the Knight of Swords, like I think that you're very impulsive with your intuition now. I feel like you've gotten so comfortable with your intuition and your feelings to a point that you're probably able to like notice very quickly when someone has dishonest intentions with you. And so like as a result, I feel like there's a lot of cases where maybe you've run into like trouble, or like maybe you've like booked it like really quick, like before anyone could like say anything. Someone's like, hey, like they can't even finish the word closed-minded and you're already gone, you know? Like, you're literally out the door and, like, you're, like, I don't know how to describe it, Pyle, for, like, you were just gone so quick. Like, it was just so fast that, like, we would have to use a stronger word than fast. Like, extreme speed vibes, you know? I don't know. I don't know why I went off tangent to describe that to you, but, like, you know, it's just, like, what I'm trying to say by expressing that is, or, like, you know, like, reiterating that 5 million times in 1 second, is that like you're not trying to go back. You're not trying to go back to a way of living. You're not trying to have people take things away from you. And I feel like with the Queen of Cups, like I feel like I haven't really been talking that much about like why people are envious of you, but like everything that I've described is just kind of like, I feel like when people are envious of you, you sniff it out very quickly. And I think that like, you know, if you are in tune with your intuition the way I've been describing, especially since we have Queen of Cups and Coins here, I think that is a very intuitive combo. It just really goes to show that, like, I feel like you're able to really, like, sense when someone's envious. And I think that, you know, like, when someone is jealous, like, that is not an energy you need to be around. I remember there's this song called Whole Lot of Money by Bia. And she's like, I don't hang out with jealous because it's a weak disease. And I feel like that is so you. I feel like if people feel like they're competing with you, or if you feel like you're around people that are like trying to be like you or something, like you already know that like there's nothing there for you to let you grow and let you become a person that you want to be, you know? And so like as a result, I just think that like you've become very accustomed to knowing the red flags and kind of the sirens when people are like, you know, embracing that energy, and you're like, I'm gone, you know? So I feel like there's not a lot of room for those people to like develop their jealousy or kind of like, you know, grow it, you know? But I just think that like, once again, it's one of those situations where they see you from afar, they know why you left probably, and they're just like, oh, you know? And I think that with the Sun card, there's just something about you, like, once again, like, you live very freely and you live very happily, you know? And through that, you're able to attract more good things. I feel like you embrace the law of attraction so much. Honestly, Pilot 4, I'm gonna sum up your reading before I like start saying like 1 million things over and over and whatever. But I just feel like the reason people are envious of you is because you have like this unwavering optimism and positivity about you, and a strong belief in the things that you're doing, and you resonate so much with the lifestyle that you've cultivated with yourself, and you kind of embrace this authenticity that a lot of other people aren't able to embrace, simply because, not even because they can't, but because they don't want to, or they've been taught not to. And so like as a result, like every time like the opportunity to step outside that comfort zone comes upon them, like it just makes them very uncomfortable, and they like seize up, and they probably like get very they lash out. And I think that you're probably one of those people that they like lash out towards, whether or not you realize it. And also I just feel like I just had a message and I completely forgot it. But I just feel like you're able to like live in a way that like a lot of other people can't, you know? And there's a lot of people that have tried to contain you, and a lot of people that have tried to keep you in a box simply because like they couldn't stand to see you shine. Especially, like I said, for some of you it could have been like a maternal figure, because they're like, no, I created you, like you will not be above me, you know, and things like that. Like I've been mentioning narcissism in a lot of the piles today, and I think that in your case, like you could have had a narcissist in your life before, or like it just goes to show that like narcissism is something that you have had to like avoid and learn to, you know, read before it gets out of hand. And I just think that like with the Knight of Swords, it really goes to show that like you're somebody who runs very quickly from those spaces, and you're somebody who is very good at sniffing those situations out. And I think that the abundance that you have attracted is through a lot of hard work on yourself and believing in things, and, you know, just stepping outside of your comfort zone and daring to challenge the status quo. Sorry, the Kentucky almost came out. The Kentuckian in me. But, you know, I just feel like there's a lot of people that are very jealous of the abundance you've cultivated through you working on yourself and, you know, nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself, whatever it may be. And as a result, I feel like there's a lot of people that try to discredit you for that, or people that try to, you know, like compete with you, or like even shut you down, or try to like feed you even more lies. But it's just like, nope, you're not having any of it. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. So yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching again. I love you. Bye.